My door won't be open completely, but these people kind of wander in, I'll be working. Somebody will tap me on the back and be like, well, I've never seen a place like this. And like, yeah, there aren't too many places like this left. Practical special effects. My name's Quin Davis. I'm a practical special effects artist. Right now we're in my shop. This is where I fabricate and create any prosthetics, creature suits, various things for film projects. Independent films, big budget films. The first project that I ever did was a drawing of a buffalo soldier. My dad, is a big fan. He was pretty impressed. He was like, this isn't, this doesn't suck. This is all right, I didn't start sculpting till I was about 10. And then it was a Bob Marley bust. So it was a natural transition. I didn't really put too much thought into it. I don't know why, but E.T. freaked me out when I was growing up. It wasn't supposed to exist, it wasn't natural. There was something wrong with it. I started paying attention to more horror films and the art of practical special effects, maybe as like a coping mechanism, I don't know. And then it turned into a full-blown fixation. To understand how to do practical special effects around that age of going into 14 and 15, I would read. One of the things I do predominantly, and a lot of practical effects artists do, is blood. I'm sure that every practical special effects artist that truly loves the craft has their own blood mixture. I took my recipe from Dick Smith in Taxi Driver. That was the best blood I'd ever seen. He's really the uncle of practical special effects, and like Lon Chaney is the godfather. The industry was built on practical effects. Without practical effects, there is no movie business. Try to do an inquisitive look there. Should I eat this person? Ah! When I go out or interview for a job or get a job just hired from my work, my website, more times than not, they're surprised that I'm Black. I've worked on films in chronological order. It would be Kingdom, Hancock, Battleship, Middlemen. Growing up, even with horror films and films in general, I never entirely got to see myself, represented in a majority of these films. Extremely underrepresented in the industry, especially content, but crew as well, even if the main characters are Black. My experience on Hancock was great. It was probably the most diverse set that I got to work on. My initial assignment was Will Smith. So every time he was on set, I would have to go to his trailer and then basically bird dog him throughout the day while he was there. If I were in, like a hot spot, like California, Hawaii, Louisiana, something like that, then you can do really well for yourself. Here, it's an uphill battle for sure. You got to figure out where you can apply this stuff and who has an appreciation for it. When people wander into the studio, their first question usually is probably, don't you have nightmares? Aren't you troubled by this stuff? I don't really have nightmares. I have great dreams. It's like butterscotch and ponies. I'm not kidding. Billie Holiday was always playing in my parents' house, and one of the songs that always gave me nightmares was Strange Fruit.
Blood on the leaves and blood at the road.
So those are the only things that would actually plague me. It's always in there. It's in my brainstem, you know, these stories that are actually terrifying to me. Horror movies, I love, but certain aspects of the American experience, let's say, are actually terrifying.